Hello? What are you guys doing in here? Let's get you set up over here. Hey, what's up guys? So I'm gonna be doing a little video on my new setup tour, because it seems like every time there's a new GPU coming out, I seem to be building a new computer right before it comes out. So I guess now I'm a little bit outdated, because as this video is coming out, the 5000 series just came out, and I bought the 4000 series. I'm gonna start off showing off some of my old setup pictures. I think I do have one video that I made on TikTok a while back showing the first time I made the computer, and ended up looking like this. So you can see in the images on the screen, I kind of evolved it over time. I started off with an old drafting desk, and I upgraded the desk, and I completely swapped the case completely, and ended up getting a monitor stand. So now I guess we just get straight into the new build. Here I'm showing off all the parts that I bought from Micro Center, and I got a few parts from Amazon as well. The motherboard I decided to go with was the MSI Mag B760M motor, as I needed a ATX motherboard because I wanted to go for a small form factor, just like I did with my previous computer, so I don't have a lot of space to have a big computer on my desk. The CPU I decided to go with was the Intel Core i7-14700K, and I decided to go with the Intel even though I had previously used the AMD processor. Compared to the most popular CPU right now, which is the Ryzen 7 800X 3D, which is the most popular and best bang for your buck, I decided to go with Intel because I'm going to be doing a lot more than gaming on my computer. So I believe it's a lot better for multi-processes as a workhorse, as well as playing video games. As you install the CPU, you gotta make sure you lift the CPU plate and the little stick, and you just stick it in, make sure it sits in there flush, don't force it in or the pins will bend. And then once it's seated properly, all you have to do is bend the stick down and make sure it goes into place. You do have to put a little bit of force into it, but don't be scared. As long as it's flush in there, you should be no problem. Next, then I'm gonna be putting in the RAM sticks. The RAM sticks I decided to go with were the Corsair Vengeance RGB. This is a 32 gig set. I decided to go with the Corsair Vengeance because I previously had them in my PC, and I really like the simplistic look of these with just the straight RGB light, nothing fancy. Then next I'm going to be going with the storage I'm going to be using on this computer primarily, which is the SK Hynix Platinum. I got a 1TB SSD, and this is what primarily is going to be using my operating system, as well as many other programs that I download on there, as we'll be able to boot up a lot faster. Next, we're going to be putting the motherboard right into the case. The case I decided to go with was the Thermaltake Tower 300 Micro ATX Mini Tower case. The reason I wanted to go with this initially was it was a build I had seen in Micro Center a few months ago, and I kind of just like fell in love with it because I thought it was very unique looking. It may have been like very vertical, but at the same time it also looked kind of small. So when you're putting the motherboard into the case, you gotta make sure you have it onto the right standoffs so that the motherboard can be screwed in the proper place. The way this case specifically works is that the motherboard is gonna be mounted vertically, so I/O shield for the motherboard is facing upwards, which is an issue I kind of learned that I would have later on as I completed the build. Alright, so once we have that motherboard into the case, now we have to set up the CPU cooler. The cooler I decided to go with was the Lian Li Galahad 2 LCD, and this came in white with infinity fans. So I was planning on going with infinity fans throughout the whole case, so this was the best way for me to be able to save a little bit of money. So this process took quite a while. Once I got the CPU cooler in there with the radiator mounted vertically, and then attaching all the infinity fans. The infinity fans themselves, they're supposed to be very minimum in terms of wiring, even though they still have 2 wires attached, and it took a lot of trial and error to get them working properly. They pretty much took me the entire night to put together, as I was also still dealing with my injury, so I wasn't able to stand or move around too much, so it was very uncomfortable for me to be doing this whole thing. So once the CPU cooler and the fans got into the right place, I decided to put in the power supply. The power supply I decided to go with was the Thermaltake Tough Power GT, which is a 850 watt 80 plus gold certified fully modular ATX power supply. So once I started doing the wiring, that took me quite a few hours to get done, and then the last thing that needed to be put in was the GPU, of course. So I did want something that was aesthetic looking, but also didn't want to pay too much because I wanted to stay within a certain budget, which I was able to because this one I found at Micro Center on sale, which was the Zotac Gaming Trinity GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super. And to me, that was the best bang for your buck because it was on sale and it was the Ti Super. Alright, so once I got the GPU in place, this is when I decided to boot up the PC, and then the video cut out. I believe my camera had just died at that point, but eventually the PC did turn on though, and I had nothing really to connect to it. So once I was done, it kind of just stayed on the floor for a few days incomplete because I was still waiting on stuff, and I was planning on selling my old PC to buy a new monitor, which I did end up getting eventually. The monitor I ended up getting was the Samsung Odyssey G6, which is a 2K OLED monitor. Then in terms of the peripherals, my desk stayed the same because I didn't want to buy a whole new desk, but that would have been a lot more expensive. The mouse pad stayed the same. I did buy new peripherals, a whole new keyboard and mouse. So the keyboard I decided to go with was a Inland MK Pro 75% keyboard, which is basically a glorious MK Pro dupe, as this comes with a fully aluminum body and RGB strips on the sides. Also is able to be wired and wireless, as well as Bluetooth connection as well. And then for the mouse, I decided to go with a Pulsar X2H, which was something that really fit with what I wanted. I wanted something that was wireless and very lightweight. Even though I wanted to go with a white mouse to stick with the theme of black and white, I decided to choose an accent color, which is my favorite color, of red. After a few weeks, while I was still finishing things up, I kind of grew to dislike the Thermaltake Tower 300 case, as I had a lot of issues with disconnecting the wires, because you always had to take the lid off the top to access the motherboard in the back, and it just became very annoying to have to do constantly. Even though I don't have to do that anymore, once the setup was complete, I don't really have to access the motherboard at all. I eventually stumbled upon another case that I decided to go with. Once I completed the build, I was kind of dissatisfied with the whole look, and it wasn't something that I was really satisfied with it. And I'm not sure what the reason was and why. I think the PC case was just too big for my liking. And as I was roaming around in Micro Center, I stumbled upon a new case. Well, it wasn't new, but it was relatively new to me, because I had wanted to get a mini ATX case, and I was looking around for other options to be able to swap them, and I stumbled upon the Lian Li 011. As I was doing my research into this case, I learned that the case needed a SFX power supply, and I would have to change my power supply to be able to do the whole swap, which would have been a lot more costly for me, as well as having to buy more fans for the setup. And I kind of sat on that idea for a while as I was just getting used to the PC. And then eventually I stumbled upon a offshoot of that Lian Li 011 Air Mini, and the Air does not require a SFX power supply. However, I did want the glass look, and I was able to find a glass version of the 011 Air Mini at Micro Center, which is I'm not sure if it's really available online. I was able to find that in person, and I decided to pull the trigger on it. And that's when I decided to swap all the parts from the previous case, put them into this new one, as well as adding more fans. And this is something I was a lot more proud of once I completed it. This case as well, I bought in black because I did want the white and black look. So I got the black interior with the white components, and then I painted the outside panels in white. My friends were also able to help me out as I was still dealing with my recovery of my knee. So they helped me mount my TV on the wall, as well as do the cable management for me until I was able to do it better myself. As for the audio has pretty much stayed the same, as I'm still using a Sony soundbar and Blue Yeti microphone. This one was something that was given to me by a friend. Unfortunately, I wish I had a black one. I think he has a black one now. This one came in silver, but I'm not gonna complain because it was free. I do eventually think I should be getting a mic arm, so it's not just sitting on the desk, but I kind of like the minimalist look of the desk as it is now, as I don't really have much stuff on it. To complete my setup, I decided to get a pegboard and then mount that to my closet door. And with the pegboard, I was able to organize all my extra stuff, so I don't need to have my desk cluttered and keep it organized. This was from Amazon. I'll leave the link down in the description. I'll leave the link in the description of all the parts that I ordered, whether it be from Micro Center or from Amazon. Once the build was complete, over the last few weeks, I've been able to get a lot more comfortable with it, and I've really enjoyed how the final setup came together. And I've mostly just been playing Marvel Rivals and a little bit of Fortnite here and there, as those are the only two games I really have downloaded right now. I did play some Call of Duty a while back when Call of Duty came out, but I eventually stopped playing because all my friends stopped playing it, and it wasn't becoming too enjoyable. Right now, my latest obsession is Marvel Rivals, of course, as many other people. Alright, so I think that should be enough yapping. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was a very long process, but I'm very happy with the final results. If you have anything that you would add to the setup, let me know and leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for more content. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace out.
Hey, it's me.